Hi guys, welcome back. Today's guests are such an amazing example of how elite sport and real life can sit alongside each other. Máire McGinley and Rachel O'Connor are an Irish-Scottish duo that's worked incredibly well, taking the APAC record in the mixed relay and lining up in the Elite 15 races this season in Hamburg and Melbourne. They're both mums, they're both seriously driven, and they're showing what's possible when you stay consistent, back yourself, and don't put limits on what you can do. We're super excited to chat about performance balance and what high level sport actually looks like in real life. So, thank you so much, girls, for joining us all the way over in sunny Singapore.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Oh no, we're excited about this one because I think we've seen your names popping up. Obviously, watched you race in the Elite 15 on the live stream, and feel like we don't know that much about you. So we kind of want to dive in and just find out a little bit more about you girls. I don't know who wants to start, but maybe you could give like a little bit of background on you and also how the pairing came together in the first place.
Yeah. So I'm Moira, I'm a physio, living in Singapore like 13 years. My background is running, so I was always a competitive runner, and I actually was Rachel's physio, way back in the day.
Oh,
And that's
wow.
kind of yeah, that was our first encounter. And she used to race against me a little bit, and she's an awesome runner as well. So that's kind of where we first met. And then kind of I did a bit of HYROX. I started an open. A guy in my running club told me to try open. Well, actually, he told me to try pro for my first one, and I was like, "Mate, I haven't even done. I don't even know what this thing is." And I did open. I won the Singapore Open, which qualified me for Nice World Championships. But then I realized quickly I had to do pro weights, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Okay, so now I'm racing pro," and then I kind of just fell into it. Then did Nice, and then I was the one who tried to get Rachel to do the doubles with me.
Oh, no way.
It's all
Yeah.
down to you that this pairing's happened. You
Well,
twisted her arm.
yeah, I was scheming behind the scenes. We used to go to a boot camp kind of session together, and I was like, "Oh, like Rachel and me would like we're really good. We're very similar runners, but I think we pull each other up in the strength aspects. Like she's stronger in ergs, and she's stronger, probably in general than me. But when we combine it together, so I kind of came up with the idea and was like, "Is there any chance you'd be interested?"
Oh, that's so cool. What distance, what kind of running did you do? Was it like distance running, track running sort of
Yeah,
thing?
so no, I'm kind of middle distance. So I was doing like cross country in Ireland. I
Okay.
did 5Ks, 10Ks on the track. I didn't do a lot of kind of like, actually not a lot of half marathons or marathons, not until I went to uni. Actually, when I went to my master's, I kind of was doing I had a scholarship in Ireland. So I got in academically, and then once I was in uni, then they gave offered me a sports scholarship. So I was kind of competing for the my uni and my undergrad, and that was great. But it kind of made me like I was living at home. I didn't really experience college life. I was really into running. I was kind of very dedicated, switched on. So then I went off to Edinburgh and did my master's, and I kind of gave up running for about 6 months. Kind of went and had a good time partying and living away from home. And then I actually, after 6 months, was like, no, I don't want to do this. So I then started doing 10Ks, half marathons, did my first marathon in Edinburgh. So yeah, so then I kind of got into road running. And then when we moved to Singapore, like road running's massive here. So like everyone does there's 10Ks, half marathons every weekend if you want, especially before COVID. It's kind of dwindled off a bit now. So then that's kind of where I started going back to it. And then that's where I would have met Rachel, like I was doing a lot of like road runs against her and stuff. So yeah.
Alright. And then Rachel, what about you? Is it running background as well? Is that how you roped in your physio for as
Yeah,
well?
yeah.
Or what was your background?
So my background as a junior, I was more into athletics or track and field. So I actually would have been into the multi events like pentathlon, like your high jump, long jump, up to 800. 800 was probably my preferred distance. Um, that's where I was at a junior, and I actually kind of dreamed of going to the Olympics with athletics. Like that was my dream when I was little. But I had a really bad back injury when I was about 14, I think. Um, and that kind of, I suppose, that made me one of the statistics of the kind of the girls that had potential to do well in sport, but I dropped out kind of 14, 15 years old. And I think life kind of took over a little bit. Growing up in Scotland, I think there was a lot of influences. There was, drinking at a young age. There was a lot of, pressure from friends, like the social groups. And I do think I struggled through my teenage years because I had had an identity as an athlete, and I had had a dream of being an athlete as I grew up. But, having that injury kind of put an end to it all. And therefore my kind of later teenage years were quite hard. But running was something that I loved. So running still was a joy for me. And then when I went to university, in London. That was, running was a way that I could meet people, and I joined the cross country group. And actually, I joined a running club, Woodford Green, as well, and did a bit of running with them, but just socially kind of, it was more for fun. I was doing races, but there wasn't a pressure to perform as such. And then I have actually traveled. I feel like I've lived in quite a lot of places. So I also moved to Melbourne, and I joined a running group in Melbourne, made a lot of friends through that, did the cross country scene in Melbourne. After Melbourne, I moved to Singapore, and that's where I met Moira, doing a lot of running with her, and having a few injuries as well. So she had to help me out through that. And then I've actually had a bit of a break from it all because I wanted to get pregnant when I was around 30. And I was someone that I hadn't had a period for. I feel like we're getting quite deep quite early.
This is good. This is good.
For several years at that point. And I think, so this is like 10 years ago, I think it was quite acceptable that if you did a lot of training, and I was working quite long hours, it was kind of okay if you were not having a period. And I don't think it was spoken about much as something that should be corrected. And so I did go for a few years, continuing to run, continuing to sort of set goals in half marathon and 10K and stuff. But then it got to the point where I felt ready to have children, and realized I needed to change my lifestyle. And that's when I kind of had to stop running. I had to gain a bit of weight. I had to go on a kind of hormone treatment journey for a little while. And then I managed to conceive and have my first child. But by this point, I was now living in Bangkok. And the running scene there was not big. It wasn't easy to go out and run around. Like, there's one park and it's got a 2.5K loop. So doing a 10K was not that exciting. Yeah, and then I think just the pressures of being a mum and finding time for myself and trying to prioritize myself for quite a few years was difficult. I moved from Bangkok to Brisbane for a year, and my husband traveled a lot. So I had 2 kids. So I had a second child in Bangkok as well. And living in Brisbane for a year without much help. Again, I wasn't running much. We then moved back to Singapore, and that was when I said to myself I needed to find myself again. And running has always been something I've loved. So then I'd also seen HYROX on social media, and that's when I got into the boot camp on a Sunday, and I said to my husband and I said to myself, I am going to prioritize myself. It is non-negotiable that I go to the boot camp on a Sunday morning. And I set myself the goal of doing my first HYROX in 2024. And that's when I met Moira. So Moira was first and I was second in the race. And then I realized I loved it. So I kept going with the training. And then Moira came to me at the start of last year. And, it's kind of become something a lot bigger, and a really big goal for me and for Moira to try and be as successful as we can in HYROX. So
Wow,
I feel like
that's
I've
crazy. What a
opened
journey.
up a lot of topics.
Yeah, no, it's so cool though, and like we've changed this podcast to be more female specific because of these kind of reasons, because of the, I don't know, we have a lot of mums that listen and they're juggling everything. We have a lot of athletes that that listen that maybe are in the same situation as you, where they haven't had a period for a long time, but no one's really talking about it and they don't really understand what to do and how to get
Yeah.
healthy. And maybe people that are on a journey where they just want to find out more about how to train specifically as a female athlete. So that whole like your timeline and everything you've just shared is like kind of encompasses the whole reason why we like do this podcast, I would say.
Awesome.
How I just wanted to go back to at the beginning when you were obviously going through your like fertility journey, and where did you start? If somebody's in the same position right now and they haven't had a period for a while and they don't know what to do and maybe they're thinking about starting a family, and I know you said you like gained a bit of weight and you stopped. Did you have any support, or is there anywhere that like any advice you would give to somebody that's maybe in the same situation?
Well, I just go to the doctor first was
Okay.
the first thing, and then what was difficult at the time was that I wasn't like necessarily underweight, and it wasn't like I felt like I deprived myself of food or anything like that. So, it was difficult to say, oh, this will be the solution to eat more, or you know that you're training too much. Because you can also get like your bone density scans, and like I was coming up okay. Like it wasn't like I had stress reactions in the past, so I knew that I wasn't perfect. But yeah, there's not necessarily like a clear-cut sign as to this is the pathway that you need to take. So my first thing was that I went to a doctor, and she was just very kind about it and very understanding that um that you still want to be an athlete and still want to run, but she said you kind of have to prioritize the pathway, the next pathway, which was trying to have a family. And yeah, her advice really was to cut back on the stress. So I also was working in an F45 gym at the time. So my hours were like 6 in the morning were when the classes were starting. And then I'd quite often be taking the late classes as well and finishing at, 9 p.m. And I would fit in Singapore, because it's so hot, then you don't really want to run in the middle of the day. So I was getting up at like 4 in the morning and doing my run before my morning classes. So there was definitely a lot of stress in my lifestyle, and I needed to change that. And I think also by the time that you kind of I went to the doctor, then I knew that there was a lot of stress in my lifestyle, and I knew that I wasn't doing myself any favors. So um yeah, you have to own that you can take control of it. And I think that was the first step, was knowing that it was a problem, and then knowing that I had to take control of it, and I had to make better choices. And because then I also then started the hormone treatment, because I wanted to get pregnant now. Like I think if I wasn't quite ready to get pregnant, I think I could have reversed or could have got my period back without the hormones.
Yeah.
No, thank you. And thanks for like sharing it and like opening up, because I do think it'll help so many people listening, and people that are maybe in a similar position, or just something to think about. If someone is like training really hard, maybe they haven't had a regular cycle, but they are thinking they might want to start a family soon. It just kind of like, I guess, is a bit of a reminder that all of these things like interlink, and you have to look after your
Yeah.
body.
And I think also then I think you have to also realize that everything doesn't have to happen now. Like if I needed to, that must have been 6 years I took out of running, and being competitive in sport, and now here I am, trying to push it again. Like it doesn't all have to. You don't have to be young to be competitive. You can, if you need to look after your health a little bit and take a break from it, then it's not the end,
Yeah.
is what I'd say.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess that goes for any type of injuries as well. Like people that are
Yeah.
out with an injury, it's not the end. It's just take time, get your body back healthy, and then, I mean, you'll probably know a bit more about that as a physio. And
Mm.
coming back from injury, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it's really common in HYROX. I definitely see everyone, because there's so many races and so frequent, right? I
Mm,
definitely see that everyone wants everything now. Like Rachel said, like it is a multidisciplinary sport, right? Like there's so many parts of it and there's so many facets to it. Like you have to be fast, you have to be strong, you have to put it all together. And I think what I would see a lot of is people trying to do everything. And I'm always like, what's your priority? A bit like what Rachel was saying, like if your priority is to get better at running, just focus on running. Like I had a chat with a patient today and she was just like, oh, I just want to do it all. And then she was like, I might do a triathlon as well. And I was like, well, like pick you're like, what are you doing? Well, I'm doing it all. It may as well. And then I just said, what, like, what's happening though? And she goes, well, I'm not improving my marathon time. I'm not improving in my HYROX. Like I did it. Okay. I can complete everything. And I said, yeah, you're kind of jack of all trades, but like master of none. And like athletics, like we just do athletics, right? You just run. Like HYROX, it's this whole new concept. And I'm always trying to say to patients, like, prioritize what it is. Like do one, figure out what you're not good at. If it's running, then just focus on the running for a while. Like obviously keep your strength or whatever, but I listened to Sean Noble and actually I really agree with what he said. He said when he tries and does get fast and strong, neither happen. And I
mm,
agree. And he said, like, if I just maintain my strength, but really focus on my speed, I get faster. And he goes, and then I'll bring in some strength back in. But you got to pick which lane you want to be in. Because
mm,
I think with HYROX and with pressure and with media and with how often these races are, we're not kind of going like long term. And even just in general, with even the Elite 15 athletes, like longevity is a word that's coming around now, but it's new because people are getting injured, right? Like I
mm,
think this is now us changing the narrative, but before it wasn't. It was do as many races as you can. It was get it into the elites as quick as you can. It was kind of like now is the time, go now. And I think it is lovely, even with this podcast and chatting and I listened to Sophie on your last one, and like even her, she's kind of like she was
mm,
going for the now, and even she's kind of realized actually I still have so much long left to take my time.
mm.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. I completely agree. And I think like well, maybe you touched on it there a little bit, the racing all the time. I don't know if you've seen the new kind of system come out, which
Mm,
does, I guess, encourage whether good or bad, more racing. For the doubles, a little less so. They're saying that it's going to
Three
be
races.
3 races as opposed to the solos, which is the 5. But um do you have any thoughts on that, and what does that mean for your pairing?
mm. So
Gutted.
we got it.
Absolutely
Yeah.
gutted.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you guys, yeah, you one of the new rules coming in next season is about having the same passport.
Yeah.
Mm.
We were like, is
So
there
it
no way that you guys can try have you not got any other
Someone not
family or a way
We
to
need
like
to,
get
yeah.
a
we need to do
passport to go?
something.
Yeah.
Rachel's husband has some Irish in him, so we're like, Rachel, can
Can,
you become
can we do
Irish?
that? Yeah. Yeah.
We'll look into it. We're not,
Pull
it's not
pull
over
some
yet.
strings.
Yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, it's a realistic like thing like road to go down, isn't it? If you guys have got a
Yeah.
good pairing, I mean, there can't be too many of you out in Singapore at that level that can obviously train
No.
together.
100%. We got a bit of an insight out of it. They told us in Melbourne when we had the race brief. They told us that this was all going to change and everything. They didn't tell us about the nationality thing, but we'd heard a bit on the grapevine. There was a rumor that, like, if they're pitching for the Olympics, eventually it will have to be nations because you can't have multi nations competing against each other. So we had heard a bit of a rumor about that, but I didn't think it was going to be as quick as this. I thought
Mm,
maybe we'd have another season. And kind of, it's interesting. They've kind of cleared up some things. When they told us in Melbourne, it sounded very much like races would be almost like graded depending on how many elite athletes were in the race. So those races would carry more gravity and more points. And I think from what I kind of heard today, that's not the case. Because in Asia, and it's not to diss Asia, but the standard is a lot
Mm,
less here. So we don't have opportunities where we race against other elites very often. Maybe if we go
mm.
down to Australia, but like even some of the elites in Australia, because they're in the majors, they're not racing in age group races. So it like when they had said that we would really be scuppered. But even just in terms of frequency of races, we don't have as many. We would always have
Mm.
to travel. Like we're lucky in Singapore, we get 2 races a year, which is great. But then you're flying to Hong Kong, you're flying to Seoul, you're flying to China, you're flying to Australia, and we're not professional. We don't get paid for this. You're paying accommodation, you're paying flights, you're taking time off work. So it does, I get it in Europe, you still would have to travel. It's just you're not talking about the kind of distance that we're traveling. So it
It's not
doesn't
you're not
really
jumping
fit.
on a quick, yeah. You don't have a
Yeah,
quick EasyJet or Ryanair flight for an hour or something.
yeah, or like the
It's
Eurostar, you know.
yeah, it's
So
totally different. Yeah.
yeah, and I think it kind of highlights that maybe if you're this is a bit of a race for the privilege. Like if you can afford it, you can do it. If you can't, you
Mm,
can't. And unless you're
mm.
sponsored.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. And it's hard, isn't it? Because I think you can see that they're obviously trying to find a way to make it more fair on the,
Mm,
like, I guess from the fast course to not fast course, by doing this system,
yeah.
so that, yeah, it's across the board. But I do think it does also then cause a lot of other issues with what you've just said there. It's almost
Mm,
like it's really hard to find a way that kind of works for everyone, and that's the most fair for everyone, when there's not a set amount of races in each continent like that's the same.
yeah.
I Tricky.
It'll be
But I
interesting,
do.
yeah, to see how it rolls out.
Yeah, I do
Sorry.
think though it is good to move away from the time-based races
Mm.
because there
I think
definitely
it's
is there
I
isn't
think
the
it's
same with courses, you know. The
yeah,
courses
and I
are
think
very varied.
they've put in like a precedent of like racing against other
Mm,
people. So like the race becomes a race as opposed to the race becoming time based and everyone trying to still doing a time trial at the same race.
yeah.
It's almost like you are racing against the other question I kind of had around it was like the waves, because if it is a race, but then someone's not in the same wave as some of the faster
But I
competitors, then it
think if you have the elite licensing,
license.
you
That's true.
automatically go into the
Yeah, fair.
first way. I think that's what they said, was if
But
you've
Yeah.
got the
that
elite licensing. Yeah. um
And
and I
how
think
do you
that's hard
think
again, making
yeah.
the pressure that you must have an elite license, right? What if
Mm,
it's your first ever race? Like we saw Melanie Moore in the last chance qualifier
mm,
last year. She was a wild card. She came out of a different wave, and look at her now. She's been in every Elite 15. So if she wouldn't have had it, or maybe she would have, but I doubt if this is your first HYROX, would you be getting an elite license within the
mm.
time frame that you're supposed to have it ahead of the race? You know,
Yeah, the
it
whole thing.
changes.
Yeah, I think also from a maybe from more of a spectator point of view as well. That if they're gonna not have the qualification spots at the to get into the world champs, and they're not gonna have last chance qualifiers and things like that, and it's all going off a points based system, kind of takes
Mm,
away the excitement. Like the last chance
Mm.
qualifiers, exactly like even that race you're saying with Melanie Moira, where she came through and Chris thought
mm,
she had it, and then suddenly there's somebody in another one, and they go to world champ, and it was just all I don't know the entertainment value, I guess,
yeah,
for the
yeah.
Yeah.
sport is
It,
is less if it's all just on points and you have to follow a chart, a table.
it's all very
Mhm.
kind of like a bit more predictable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally. And how has the Elite 15 experience been for you girls? Obviously, you paired up, and then Hamburg was your first elite race. Like, how did it feel to be back in the elite sport and on the course and doing the grid and all that sort of stuff? And yeah, just what was the experience, or how has it been for you girls?
Um, I'll start. I think Hamburg was amazing. It was like yeah, the whole grid, the whole, separate room or separate hall for the elite experience, doing the media slots and like the interviews and the photo shoots and things. A very, very cool experience. And when they had a elite lounge, and for us, like we see these athletes on Instagram, like you're never close to them. And even if you're at an event in Singapore, there's no Lauren Weeks around here. But to be like literally sitting next to her was really cool. But I would reflect on that and say that I did find it hugely overwhelming. Um, like I kind of look back and think that I was really nervous throughout that whole weekend. And I look at some of the texts that I wrote to my friends, like people are wishing me good luck, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like I'm a mom who goes to the gym. Like how am I here? Kind of thing. So I didn't put myself into the race mentally. I don't think I had the belief in myself in Hamburg. And then I think we did well. Like I'm very proud of how we performed, but I know that I found that a very mentally stressful race. And I think that's because I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't feel like I belonged enough in that race. And thankfully we got another shot in Melbourne. And in the period between Hamburg and Melbourne, I've really tried to work on my mindset a little bit to feel like I belong in the race and to believe in myself more, and really just give it a shot. Like don't not to be intimidated by other athletes and not to be intimidated by the whole experience. And therefore, I really enjoyed the Melbourne weekend. I think we knew what to expect with all of the media things, and then I had my family and some friends in Melbourne watching us. So for me, that was a really special race, and I'm again very proud of how we got on in that race.
Yeah. What about you, Moira? How did you find it? Were you a little bit the same, or did you have a bit
Yeah.
more self-belief that you did belong there? Because you girls aren't your spot. Like you aren't your spot to be there.
Yeah, I think I was probably, in hindsight, yeah, I definitely was nervous at it, but I think I was a bit the opposite. Like I think I blew up Melbourne too much in my head. Um, I kind of thought like, yeah, it was definitely overwhelming, and it's cool to see all the elite athletes. Like you're sitting down at a briefing, and like Camilla Massa is just sitting beside you on the floor, and you're kind of like, oh, like we're just all normal humans.
Yeah.
There's not enough chairs for everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. And that was quite cool. And getting your kit and everything, that was really cool. That kind of reminded me of like doing some when I did a couple of races for Ireland and stuff. It would just reminded me of that, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, this is cool. Um, but then Melbourne, I think I just put it in my head that we had a lot of pressure. Like it wasn't home turf, but it was as close to home turf as we could have. We had switched coach in the time. We'd really put like all chips in for Melbourne. And it was a really hard race. Like that race had a world record set. Like it was really fast. A
Yeah.
lot of people who didn't turn up at Hamburg turned up in Melbourne, and we kind of expected that. But also, we didn't know how some of those athletes were going. They didn't race in Hamburg, um, and there was definitely lots of new couples as well. So I think when we finished, like I didn't realize what place we'd gotten, and I was really disappointed when I heard 10th because we had gotten 7th, even though our
Yeah.
time was better in Melbourne. I was just like, what? We came 10th? Like, we're not even in the front half of the pack. Like, so I was a bit more gutted, and I had to take some time off and reflect over Christmas and just kind of like, we've only been in the sport very little, but we've done one race in Paris before we got into Elite 15, where we nearly, very narrowly missed getting into the World Championships Elite 15. Then we had Hamburg, which was all in, like very intense. And then we're in Melbourne. So like we've raced 3 times together at this stage, right? So like if you put it into perspective, I just know we have more. So I was disappointed. But yeah, I kind of had to reflect and go, look, like that, it doesn't have to be now. I was putting it
Mm.
on us that, yeah, like, okay, well, like we should get it in Melbourne, and then we won't have to get a qualifying spot later on in the year, and we can just train. And I think that over like hyping it and making it a bigger event than it actually needed to be, I just felt I didn't enjoy that race as much. I found that race really way more intense than the Hamburg one.
Mm.
Yeah. No,
And it's
I mean,
interesting, like what you say about results, and I don't know, like looking, you came seventh and you came 10th, but
Yeah.
also the field changes. So,
Yeah.
like it's all relative, but also you can have a really good race, and just depending on the course as well, your times, and
Yeah.
it's all just, yeah, it depends how it falls on the day as well. And how do you find, which is something I think we struggle with, and a lot of people that do doubles, both peaking on the same day? Like, do you guys, it's hard enough for one person to have a good race on that one day at that time at that place when you've traveled, but like for a doubles, like a duo, to both feel pretty good on the same day to put out a good effort. I mean, you girls have had some good races considering like there's two of you that have
Mm.
to be there and perform on the same day.
Yeah, like there's no perfect like remedy, I suppose. Quite often we're always checking in with each other, like, how did you sleep, all that kind of stuff. And we're kind of always like, well, now we're on the same training plan, which really helps because we
Okay.
we know what the same load has been for each other as well. So, like I remember when we first started this first training plan, me and Rachel were both messaging like week 2, and I was like, oh, I'm a bit wrecked. Like this is quite a lot. She was like, yeah, me too. And I was like, okay, phew. So it's not just me. And then we had a bit of a deload not long after that. And then I was like, okay, all right, I'm having a breather now. So yeah, I think that definitely helps us to, I suppose, to mentally think that we're going through the same thing and we're peaking and tapering around the same time. Yeah, and I think we were just constantly checking in with each other.
Mm. Do
do you
you
Yeah.
go
train
it?
together? Oh, sorry.
No, no, go on.
Before now, no, like so. Before Paris, no, I don't think we did even one
Don't think
session.
I don't even know if we'd had a run through before Paris. We literally like
Rocked
rocked up
up
on
in
the day
Paris.
and we're like, all right, so we're gonna like
Rocked up in
change the
Paris.
sandbag here and then maybe here. And yeah, it was we freestyled that race.
Yeah.
Word.
And then Hamburg, I think we did maybe one or two sessions. Like our schedules are very different, even though we're in the same
Mm.
country, it is quite tricky. So like we both have kids. I work full time. Rachel's like full time at home with 2 kids. So she's optimizing the time when the kids are at school. And then I'm
Mm.
optimizing the other sides, like before my kid gets up and before he or just after he goes to bed. So but we have done recently quite a few Saturday sessions, like crazy o'clock in the morning. But actually, they've been really enjoyable, and
Yeah.
both of us afterwards are like really like, yeah, that was good. It felt good, and I think we're very lucky, and it's a luxury to be able to do that, kind of those sessions together. And I think they help our confidence massively, like for race day stuff.
Yeah. Do you go into the race with quite like a solid strategy? I mean, I know obviously like on the day things can change, but do you have kind of like a plan going in that you aim to stick to?
Yep.
Yeah, we
Yep.
do.
Yeah. Um, Especially now that we're training, like we're on the same program, uh, running wise, like we're kind of very much aware of where we're at with that in terms of our pacing. Um, and then stations, our stations were pretty much splitting them 50-50, but uh, the way that we split it is different. Like per station, Moira will start and finish, for example, the ski, but then I'll do longer intervals on the ski than she will. We've got a plan for every station, and I don't think we've optimized our plan yet. Like I don't think we're
Mm.
getting quite the best out of ourselves, but yeah, we have a plan, and I think we do stick to it pretty much.
No,
Yeah,
that's
we
it.
don't really wing it on the day. Once we say we're doing something, we'll stick to it.
Mm.
We've been lucky that we have, there's been no mishap that we had to deviate. But I think
Yeah.
also we're pretty good at communicating within the race. Like, if I'm like, all right, I'm supposed to start the lunges on the run, I'll be like, you're starting. And
Yeah.
like she's just like, yeah, okay. So
And that's the
that
main
also
thing, isn't
works.
it? Yeah, that you
Yeah.
can just like let each other know and the other one's ready to step in.
Yeah. Or
Ha-
wobbles. I was like, can you keep going? And she was like, I'm like, okay, I'll keep going. I was like, yeah, you before.
But I think
See,
that's
Yeah.
what's great in doubles is that like you have this feeling where you don't want to let the other person down, so that you're
Mm.
trying your absolute hardest. But then the other part of not letting them down is that if they need you to help, then you're like, I'll do it. No, like even if I'm feeling rubbish, yes, I'll do it because I'm not going to let you down. If you need me, I'm not going to let you down. Um, I think that's what makes it quite fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, we've had some funny moments, and I'm sure everyone's had it in doubles where you're trying to communicate and one of you's feeling better than the other, and yeah, you don't want to let each other down, especially at the wall balls at the end.
Yeah.
And I know Em always says she like hopes I'll just keep going, and then some of the times I've just handed her the ball and been like, "It's your turn." Like, damn.
That I'm exactly the same, I'm like,
Yeah,
I think, Rach, this is the day you're gonna go unbroken.
yeah, go for it.
I'm just
I'm
like,
right
They
behind you.
feel it.
yeah, I'm like, just keep going. You're doing so well, praying that she doesn't give me the ball.
Yeah. That was
Oh,
like in Hamburg. They kind of had this big like prefab like behind the wall balls, and it was really intense. So then you have all the judges. We're going under this tunnel, and I'm standing there, and there was low. It's at the new. The exit where we come out, and it's all
Mm.
lit up. It's all really bright, like UV lights. Everything's really loud, and then everyone's screaming. And the coach zone is there, so you've got like one layer is the coach zone, then you've got the judges, then you've got the person throwing, then you got the person standing, then you got all these supporters. And it was just really intense. So I started shouting at Rachel. I was like, go on, just block everything out, just keep going. And her face just started going like, what, what do you, and then she just stopped. And I was like, no, like, keep going. I was like, ignore everything. And she was like, after the race, she was like, I thought you were telling me something's happening. Something real bad's happening. So I was like, oh, God. I was trying to help. And I was like, right, okay,
Yeah,
Moira, shut up in the races. Say nothing to Rachel unless it's really important. Was not helpful.
that's so
Yeah.
good. Like
and how?
no,
Go,
go
go
on.
on.
I was gonna say it's hard though, isn't it? Like when there's so much going on,
Yeah.
yeah, you're in the depths of
I,
pain, but also probably thinking, oh, maybe she's actually telling me something important, like I don't
yeah.
know, I've got a penalty, or I've got to go lower, or my depth isn't
Yeah.
right, or something, and it's like, oh God, so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Oh
So
dear.
note to self, don't talk to Rachel mid-race. Like she just really is in the zone. Otherwise, she's freaking out.
Leave her to it, and she'll get the
Yeah,
100
she'll
unbroken,
be
and we'll be
fine.
fine.
Yeah, that's the only reason I didn't manage it in Hamburg.
Yeah,
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 Yeah. And how
yeah.
did you find the race in Hamburg was like a traffic like system of penalties? Did you girls get a penalty or
Uh, yeah,
like how did
I
you
got one
find the
first.
the judging and dealing with the penalties and the penalty box and all that for the especially for your
Yeah,
first elite race?
I got one on the sled pull, but it's funny. I saw him give me the warning. I never saw the card. So he's supposed to show you the card, the red, and I never seen it. So anyway, we're running around, and it was like that was the only thing I could hear was like Moriarty. And to be fair to the poor girls, I was chatting to them after, like it was just penalty after.
Yeah, it was.
And even I said to Gabby, like your name, if I had to hear it one more time, she was like, "How do you think I felt?" It was just and Moriarty, another penalty. So you just hear that, and like you can't really see the screen. You see, there's a screen that they say you can see workouts. You couldn't really see it very well in Hamburg, so that was displaying your penalties. So we get up to the wall balls, and Ray starts the wall ball. So again, I'm not looking at our wall ball target, and then I switch in, and then I see the 15-second penalty, and I was like, for what? Like I didn't do anything. So then I was thinking, oh, maybe Rach got it, and then she's again doing the wall balls, and I start talking to her. I'm like. When did we get penalty? Rach like come on, like, I'll tell you later. Like, we'll discuss it later. Because at first he's like, well, it wasn't me. Second of all, then maybe it's a mistake. So then yeah, we all got in, and then like I didn't realize how many people had penalties. It
Yeah.
was actually wild.
I literally think nearly everyone. I think like you did
Yeah,
well if you didn't get one. It was
yeah.
like, oh God, but I just, yeah, I feel like when we
Gabby
were,
and Zara though, I mean that
oh,
was
The
like
poor
even the fact at
girls.
the end, like watching it, I was just like, oh my
Yeah,
Lord. I
the
mean
oh,
that
intense finish.
for people watching it, I know for you girls in the
Yeah,
actual race, it's a totally different experience. But for us watching, I mean, it made it so exciting because you're like, oh my God, who's gonna do what? And then, oh, maybe they're gonna win. Oh no, they're not because they've got a penalty.
yeah,
Oh sugar, they might win. Oh, they're so close. And I actually made it a
yeah.
really good race to watch at your guys' expense, I guess. But
And as a
yeah.
competitor, like when we were on the rower, I could hear that like Gabby and Dara had loads of penalties. So at that point we were like fourth or fifth. So it actually did push you because you're
But
like, I
yeah,
was like, they're a minute. They
Yeah.
have a minute of penalties. I was like, come on, Rach, like we actually could be in the third, fourth position. But I didn't know we had one. But you know what I mean? It did actually make you push a bit more because your place didn't really matter if someone had stacks of penalties.
Yeah.
So it was kind
Yeah.
of and I like it, and I like it better than the way they've done it before. I think it is the fairest way to do it.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
it's
agree.
pretty brutal when people are. I think maybe more for the singles than the
Mm.
doubles. When like it was Lena Peters, wasn't it, that was standing in that
My
box, and you just
heartbreaking.
felt for us so much. Like I think that bit, you're just like, oh God, that's brutal. But I do
Yeah.
And
agree. There's
again,
not really a way another way to do
How
it.
else do you do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
and I think her case, she didn't know she had it either, right?
Yeah.
So
No.
I
And
think
then is
it's
it
really,
better? Is it better that you don't
yeah,
realize? Is it better that you didn't know you didn't have that you had that penalty through
yeah,
the whole race, or would it have been better that you had it? I don't know, because like Zara and Gabby said they actually pushed them on because they were like, we've got a minute to
mm,
make up. Where it's also pushed you
yeah,
girls on because you were like, they've got a minute penalty. But
yeah,
I don't know, if you'd have found out you had a 15-second penalty, would you have been like, it's very psychological as to whether it'll push
definitely.
people on or hold them back. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I definitely think it affects then the later races because in Melbourne it was clean slate all across. So
Mhm.
like that
Yeah.
was one of the things that we had spoken about with our coach, like don't keep it clean. Just you don't want any
Yeah.
penalties. That could be the difference between you guys losing a spot because you messed up on something silly. So it definitely does change, especially when you're in the stations. And like I was freaked that in the burpees because they are really up in your grill and like a stagger jump, that's enough. Like so you are more careful within some of
Mm.
those stations on purpose. Because even with the lunges, he was like knee to the ground, and I couldn't have smashed my kneecap off the ground
Oh,
anymore. And
hate
he was
that.
like, knee to the ground, knee to the ground. I was like, that's literally gonna be bleeding if I keep going. But like you do
Yeah.
it, you
Yeah.
know?
God,
Mm.
honestly, I know.
It's a
I mean,
different style of racing, isn't it, at that level?
yeah.
It's like you're not just racing, you're having to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
what does the future look like? What have you got the next race plan? I mean, I don't think that has the lineup been announced yet for Phoenix. Are you girls going to Phoenix?
We are going to.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are, yeah. Okay, amazing.
Yay.
Oh,
Um,
2 weeks then? Is it like, yeah, it's not
Next
long now.
Friday.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Oh,
soon.
bloody
It's
Yeah.
hell.
very soon.
All right,
Yeah.
good luck. What are you doing talking to us? You girls need to go and get your race plan sorted.
Um, amazing. Well, that's super exciting.
Yeah.
Are you, I mean, you don't have to like give anything away, but are you excited? Has much changed since Melbourne? Like, did you have time off over Christmas? Like, how's training been? All that sort of stuff.
I think I don't think either of us have had the most amazing training block because we've had a bit of time off and we've had a bit of travel, and it's also very close to Melbourne.
I did think it's
Um,
quite a quick turnaround, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah. So it hasn't really felt like we've kind of done anything differently. It would be, I'd say it's been like maintenance since Melbourne kind of thing in terms of training. Um, and I think we were actually a little bit on the fence about whether or not we would go to Phoenix, given that it's quite, it's a big effort for us. Like, I mean, we're talking about 24 hours of traveling and um, can't take that much time away. Moira can't take much time off work and stuff. So, it's going to be a quick turnaround. I think we will arrive on the Wednesday and then literally Moira's flying out again on Saturday, like straight after the race. So, anyway, we felt like we should take the opportunities. We are not going to get the opportunities forever, and we have this chance. And then with all of the changes that were happening in the
Mm.
last couple of weeks, all the roll downs that happened, um, like Meg and Molly didn't take their world champs spot, and who was it? Lauren and Lauren.
Lauren,
Yeah.
yeah, theirs went down.
Then we kind of said to ourselves, well, we need to be in the races. Like we
Yeah.
can't have it that this is the race that another roll down happens and we didn't put ourselves in it. So yeah, we're gonna go for it, and
Good on you girls.
excited. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I love that. It's the right, it's like a great attitude to have there, and you've got to be in it. You're absolutely right, and take the opportunities. And I mean, fair play to you for juggling it all and making it work and doing the travel, because it's a lot, and I guess it does take its toll on your body as well, especially after not a long space of time between Melbourne and Phoenix. But no, that's awesome.
I was
Yeah, well,
gonna on that like because you just said about like traveling and juggling and everything. So I just spent like a few weeks with my sister, and she's got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they were a bit snotty by the end of the week, but they wanted to spend loads of time with me because I became their best friend. Then I've just flown back from Dubai, and it was a bit of a long journey. Anyway, it ended up being like almost a whole day of traveling, and then I've like woken up with like a bit of a snotty nose, kind of feeling like I've got a bit of a cold coming on. How the hell do two mums that training, balancing looking after kids and working and traveling and trying to compete at an elite level, manage to stay healthy? Like how do you do it all?
I don't know.
I just
Uh,
feel like I've just got a brand new like I feel like I haven't taken it in enough, and I never really thought about the kids, and like kids are just little disease, little carriers, aren't they?
oh,
And
Yeah,
they're little
how do you
bug
stay
infested.
yeah, how do you
Yeah.
even manage that to stay healthy enough to race?
I think, yeah, I think sleeping, all that good stuff helps, but like there's a certain level that you just have to let go, like as in you will get sick. Like when
yeah.
I was in Melbourne, I was like to Rach, I think I might be sick. So I just like went down to Coles and bought like Panadol and all that stuff with jazz. And then I was like, actually, we get dope tested. Can't take any of this. So
Yeah.
I didn't take anything because I was freaking out. Is Panadol allowed? I don't know. So yeah, like I think you kind of just take the punches. Like I remember you, Rach, before Melbourne, you also had a bit of a cough because one of your
Yeah,
kids
I'd
had been
taken
sick.
some. I'd been on antibiotics actually.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you. I think one of the things is that you can't compare. We can't compare ourselves to others. Like you kind of have to say, this is the hand I'm dealt. Like if I'm a little bit sick, if I'm not feeling perfect, if my nose is a little bit runny, and you've got the Melbourne race coming up, you still sort of say to yourself, well, I kind of have to block all that out. This is my opportunity, and I still go for it. Yeah, you kind of just
Get
move
on with
on and
it.
deal. Yeah.
Get on
There's
with
no
it. Back
there's
in your
no
box, babe. I'm
secret.
like, what's the secret, guys?
There is
No,
none.
Okay,
Definitely
cool. Well,
wear a mask when you're traveling. I
yeah.
definitely like that, whether psychological or not. I was like, at least I'm doing something for myself,
Mm.
whether or not it helps or not. But yeah,
And how do you deal with the like sleep? I mean, maybe your kids do sleep, but like, but sleep deprivation as mothers. I mean,
yeah.
I
I
think
really
it's
like
been. I
eight
think
hours
it's been
sleep, but
seven,
being with my
7 years.
sister and her kids, it hasn't happened, and I was like, how do you do it?
Yeah, 7 years of sleep deprivation. I don't think.
Over it,
Think.
yeah.
I don't know what sleeping is.
Do you
No, I
nap in the
actually
day or no?
going away to do a race. That's the best sleep I have in my life.
I was
By
just about to
myself.
say, I actually can't wait till we go to Phoenix for a good night's sleep.
It's
We're
been an
getting on a
intense
flight,
couple of weeks.
getting on a 24-hour flight. I'm like, yes, I will just sleep. I will watch a movie, not have to deal with somebody else playing Lego or
I
Doing
sometimes
arts
have
and crafts.
I've been on these flights and I literally just sit there. Like it's the only time I've done nothing and not had to talk to people or touch like, look after another human. I'll just
yeah.
sit
So
and be at
maybe
peace.
that's why we keep taking these races.
Yeah, yeah. The
That's
further, the
Like,
better.
yeah, oh, no, this one in Singapore, not really gonna go for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's not going to work for us.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Well, I have had yeah, a newfound like appreciation for mums, I think. Even though I knew you guys are like superhuman juggling it all, I think just after 3 weeks of trying to train, not really sleeping at night because of my little niece that just does not sleep, and then having to deal with two snotty kids that have now made me a little bit ill, I'm like, how do they? Yeah, fair play. And then competing at the highest level, I take my hat off to you and all the other mums that are listening.
Yeah.
Like,
I
fair
think
yeah.
I think
play.
you just nothing is perfect, right? Like it never is.
Mm,
Even if you are early. Like even I listened to Lauren Weeks chat about it and she was like, what schedule just might not happen. Like
mm,
sometimes I'm doing runs at 9 p.m. Like it's just what it has to be. So it's
yeah.
Yeah.
better that it gets done. Like other stuff might have to fall away. Like I don't socialize during the weekends. or during the week, sorry, because it's just not ideal for me. Like
Mm,
it's not going to work. I always prioritize bedtime with my little guy, so like training will have to happen afterwards if he struggles to go down to bed, and that's why I'm out at 9 o'clock then, and that's
mm,
just the way it is. So as best I can, I do it before and after he wakes up. And that also helps in Singapore because it is just roasting here. But yeah,
mm,
you just roll with it. And like it's not always perfect. Sometimes you might have to switch a day. Like like
mm,
you won't die because you were supposed to have a hard day and you switched it for tomorrow. Like it'll be grand. You'll get it done.
yeah,
Yeah, no.
no, that's cool. And sometimes imperfection and not sticking to the plan helps
Yeah.
mentally because you know that it's still going to be okay if you don't get it done at exactly that time on that day.
Yeah.
And I think races are like that, right? So
Mm,
if training happens like that, and like it easily could happen on a race day, a sled might
mm,
not go, if something
yeah.
gets disconnected on the pull, like things happen. But like you lose the head, it's not going to help anything, or you just
Mm,
think, all right, now the race is over. It doesn't really help.
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, no, totally. Well, before we kind of like round up, Rachel, I was gonna ask, going into Phoenix then, do you like have any, I guess, maybe tips for anyone else, but like how do you feel going into that race? Do you have a bit more self-belief and feel like you belong to be there? And do you have any kind of routines that you put in place or anything that might help anyone else if they are kind of feeling the same way going into races over the next few weeks?
Yep. I definitely believe more. And so going into Melbourne and what I will do going into Phoenix is journaling. Journaling is new for me.
Oh, wow.
Just so on the flight down to Melbourne, I had got myself a notebook and just writing like some affirmations about believing in myself and thinking about, why not me? Why not us? Like, why can't we do this? Are some of the phrases that I sort of say to myself, be fearless. And I think that helped me in Melbourne. So I will continue to kind of think about the things that mean something to me going into Phoenix. And writing it down. I think writing it down makes a big difference in believing what it is that you are saying to yourself.
Yeah, love that. No, good.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you. Um, well, I'll maybe start with you then, Moira, for the last question, which is what message or advice would you give to your younger self or the next generation of girls coming up?
Yeah, this is a hard one actually for me because yeah, there's so much like ways you could go. Like as in when I was growing up and when I was running, particularly for me, running was aesthetic. Like as in if you were thinner, you were better. Like that was always the MO that I had an old school coach, that was the way it was. So I never looked as food as fuel. I really just looked at it as like something I had to do, but realistically I had to just be lighter, the lighter I was. And I never like I'm small, I'm 5'2" and weigh 50 kgs. I'm not big, but I was never the runner's type. Like I have curves, I have a bum. I was never like just straight down. And that for me probably over like took over my joy of just running. I loved running. I was good at it, but I always just thought I didn't have the body type of a runner. I remember I used to say the phrase, no, I don't look like a runner. No, I don't look like a runner. That's how I used to say. Like I had won like nationals, I had gone overseas for Ireland, but I would always still be like, I know I don't look like a runner. And I wished I just hadn't cared because I was good. Like I am good, but I just wished what would my experience growing up in athletics or in running had been if I had just more if I had just loved the way I was and saw it as a strength, like I'm strong. That's actually why my shape is the way I am. And yeah, I would say that like, and I think HYROX, the beauty of that is everybody is different. Look at the Elite 15. Not one, two, three, four athletes even look the same. So I'm like, in terms of like your body image, just it doesn't matter what you look like. If you're good, you're good. And it's good because you're good. It's not good because you look like that. And it's not good. She's not good because she looks like that. She's good because she's good. So like food is fuel, massively fuel. Like as in HYROX, like in the race, we're even talking about we probably don't we take 3 gels and it's probably not enough. like as in, so fuel, like it fuels you, it makes you go, it gives you advantages. So outside of the race, extra and intra race, like just just enjoy it, and kind of don't obsess about what you look like, because actually it doesn't matter. It like it really doesn't make you a better athlete, it doesn't make you faster, it doesn't make you anything.
Yeah.
Any
No.
happier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brilliant
yeah,
answer.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Rachel, do you have anything to add, or a different angle, or what would you
Um,
say?
my message would be that the cliche of everything happens for a reason. I reflect back on, my 14, 15-year-old self and how, I thought that I had big ambitions to do like track and field. And I think, what could I have told that person, uh, to change the path, and, so that I could have been a successful 800-meter runner. But maybe that girl was not ready for that. Maybe that was not my journey. That wasn't the path I needed to be on. Life has continued, and I have had a very amazing experiences, and I've traveled and I've done fantastic things. And, that might not have happened if I had continued on the track and field path that I thought I was on. So you go through struggles, and it could be injuries, or it could be, examples like for when I was younger. Any of these things, try and see a bigger picture, try and see that that's something that you have to experience and you have to go through in that moment, and it will end. It will be part of your journey, part of your story, and you're going to learn something from it, and you're going to be something at the other side of it. It might not be the person you thought you were going to be, but embrace it all, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Something you do look back on stuff, don't you, and go, oh, I can see now, like, or I'm glad that happened now. But at the time, it seems like the most awful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true.
No, two really, really important messages. Thank you very much. And how can people follow your journey, keep watching what you're doing in the HYROX space, and and anywhere else you end up going? Moira, maybe we'll start with you. Where's the best
Yeah,
place to find you?
I'm just on Instagram, Mexi Moira, and yeah, or Hello Physio where I work. You also see some posts there, but yeah, that's where you find me, Instagram.
Perfect. Rachel?
I'm on Instagram, Rach3OC.
Perfect. Thank you. We will tag in the show notes so people can find you. Huge good luck for Phoenix. We are super excited to see how you get on and the rest of the season. And thank you so much for being so open and honest and sharing everything today. It's been such a good conversation, so we really appreciate it.
Thank
Oh,
you for
thank you.
having us.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.